Almost 150 years ago, Britain reinvented time. Some bright spark came up with an idea to save daylight, because apparently it was in trouble. There was an international conference of bigwigs who agreed that London would be the centre of the temporal universe. From that day on, the wizards of the Royal Observatory declared themselves the masters of time, or at least the prime meridian, and the people rejoiced. Actually they didn't, but those who could afford it synchronised their clocks. I've heard the argument that daylight savings is essential for agriculture. It means that farmers up north can see what they're doing in the wee hours of the winter nights. That's all very well, but the last time I checked, less than 500,000 British workers are employed in the agricultural sector, which means that almost 67 million of us miss out on months of winter sun. It's practically a punishment, a taste of the Arctic Circle for the unruly mob. There are some days, if you can call them that, more like a few hours, when the sun barely makes an appearance. Add a little weather modification into the mix and you're guaranteed gloom and doom until spring. A lack of daylight can cause seasonal affective disorder or even severe depression. I wonder how much that costs Britain every year in lost working days. I'm not saying people are topping themselves because of daylight savings, but it definitely doesn't help. If it was all for real, they could stagger the changes over the months. It would be miserable, but at least the sun could hang around for the occasional afternoon. Daylight savings isn't even green or environmental, but it does make plenty of cash for the energy market. Darker evenings mean more lights and heating and less social life, with most people scurrying home straight after work. They could be spending their hard-earned cash at local restaurants and bars, keeping the local economy alive. I guess farming comes first, no matter how much daylight savings cost the British economy. There are plenty of other countries out there suffering the same plight. Daylight savings is a curse, and it's all Britain's fault. Well, to be precise, it's the Greenwich Royal Observatory that's to blame, which, by the way, is a tourist trap these days. They can sure pull in a crowd with their line on the ground. It apparently marks the imaginary point of zero longitude, but it's arbitrary. It could be almost anywhere. I know that time used to be a mess, and it would shift every few minutes, every couple of miles. The prime meridian meant the world could improve efficiency, trade more goods, and deliver them on time. That led to all this, the rise of big tech and the internet, and even you and me sitting here in front of our screens. But despite the wonders of modern technology and the many conveniences of post-industrial society, we're all still prisoners of time. 99% of people in Britain must suffer yet another gloomy winter, so a few farmers can inspect their cabbages at the crack of dawn. Britain imports way more food than it grows, and what little it produces is sold for a pittance to the supermarkets. Then the chain stores throw half their fresh produce away every night just so they can keep their prices sky high. Britain can't even find enough workers to pick crops at harvest time. No more minimum wages for Eastern Europeans since the government lost Brexit. It's like Britain never got over rationing and still thinks that farming makes a vital contribution to the war effort. So why do so many of us still live in the dark? For Britain, there's one argument. The further north you go, the less winter sun you get. And before you beat me with a Scottish stick, I know their islands would never see the sun if we changed the rules. But if Scotland wants more independence, maybe they might like to choose their own hours. For example, the Shetland Isles are closer to Norway than they are to London. If the corporate state honestly believes that technology is the solution to all our problems, then why are we still living in the dark? We, the people, should be able to decide when we like to see the sun rise and fall, not the royal wizards of the prime meridian.